This is AeriesStories, stories for the sleepless hours, where night bends and the world slips sideways. Close your eyes and listen. Tonight's story is called The Station That Waits. I can't tell you when I first began to dream about the tracks, only that each time I closed my eyes, I was walking beside them. The air was cold, thin, almost silver, and the moon rode low enough to scrape its light across the rails. No sound of engines, no echo of cities. Just me and that long stretch of iron that seemed to hum softly beneath my steps. At first, I thought it was memory, some forgotten trip from childhood, a station my mind had misplaced and now offered back in pieces. But the more I saw it, the more I began to suspect it wasn't a memory at all. It was waiting. One night, after weeks of restless half-sleep, I decided to follow the tracks. It felt absurd, but the idea clung to me through the day, that if I went to the old freight line outside town, I might find something. Maybe a story to explain the dreams, maybe the end of them. By midnight, I was there. The tracks cut through the weeds like twin ribbons of frost. The wind smelled faintly of metal and rain. When I looked up, I saw a glow on the horizon, soft, pale, the way mist catches light. And as I walked closer, I began to hear the rhythm of a distant clock. It wasn't ticking in time with my steps. It was slower, measured, as if the night itself had its own heartbeat. Then I saw it, a station, sitting where no building had been that morning. Not ruined, not whole. The roof slanted like a broken wing, the windows shone dimly from within. The sign above the entrance was rusted through, letters erased except for 3 that still clung stubbornly to the metal. A-E-R. I told myself it was coincidence, just an echo of the word airy, maybe a nest for something that flies in the dark. Inside, the air felt suspended, thick with the dust of waiting years. Benches lined the walls, each carved with initials I couldn't read beneath layers of varnish and neglect. A clock hung over the ticket counter. Its hands pointed to 12 and refused to move. I sat. The wood was cold. Outside, the fog rolled closer to the glass until the night disappeared entirely. I could still hear the clock, but it wasn't ticking anymore. It was breathing. A man sat down beside me. I hadn't seen him enter. He wore a dark coat, hat pulled low, and his face had that distant blur you see in dreams, where the details slip just as you reach for them. He said,
"You're early."
His voice was the scrape of gravel under wheels. I asked, "For what?" He didn't answer. He just turned toward the tracks, and I followed his gaze. Out of the mist came a glow. Not the headlight of a train exactly, but something like it. A widening circle of light that swallowed the fog as it approached. The rails began to hum. I could feel the vibration through the soles of my shoes, through the bench, into my bones, and yet there was no sound. No engine, no whistle. Only the sense that something enormous was arriving very, very slowly. The man stood. He tipped his hat toward me and said,
This is yours.
Then he walked toward the edge of the platform and stepped into the light. I opened my mouth to call after him, but no words came. He was gone, and the light faded with him. When I looked again, the clock had moved. Not forward, backward. Its hands crawling against time, scratching toward 11, 10, 9. The benches were empty now. The ticket window gaped open, and behind it I thought I saw another room. Not an office, but a mirror of the one I stood in, as though the station had folded in on itself. I crossed to the window, leaned through the opening, and the air changed. Colder, sharper. On the opposite side of the glass stood someone. It took me a moment to understand I was looking at myself, or rather a version of me that had never left the bench. That figure was still sitting there, head bowed, hands clasped in a quiet patience I couldn't remember learning. I watched myself breathing slow, steady, untroubled. Then the me behind the window lifted its head. Our eyes met, and I felt the rails hum again, louder this time, like a pulse pressed against the inside of the world. I stumbled backward, but my heel caught on the edge of the platform. When I fell, I expected pain, the hard slap of stone or rail. Instead, there was the whisper of air, and then stillness. I opened my eyes, and I was sitting on the bench again. The fog had thinned. Dawn was trying to find its way through the clouds. The station looked different, older, smaller, like the memory of itself. For a moment, I thought I'd dreamt everything, but when I looked down, dust covered my coat as if I'd been sitting there for years. The clock above the ticket counter read 12 again, its hands unmoving. I stood, stepped toward the exit, and saw that the sign outside had changed. The letters were whole now. Aries Station. Underneath, etched faintly in the metal, were words I hadn't noticed before. Trains depart when the dreamer wakes. I blinked, and the platform was gone. Only the empty field remained, the rails ending abruptly where the grass took over. My footprints led nowhere. Sometimes, when I close my eyes, I still hear the hum. Not a memory, not quite a sound. Just a reminder that something is waiting. Maybe a train, maybe me. Because the more I think about that night, the less certain I am that I ever left the station at all. You've been listening to AeriesStories. If the world feels quiet tonight, perhaps it's only waiting for your footsteps on the platform. Sleep well and travel safely between dreams.